Hi, everybody. It's Chris Kerr, and I'm coming to you today because I really, just like so many people this year in 2025 in particular, um, we've all been working so hard for so long on whether it's our career or our businesses or our families or whatever we've been working on, education for a lot of people. For me, this year, it's been about my family's health and about a couple of really special projects that I couldn't be more proud of and more hopeful of the impact it's going to have on society, and in this case, in Arizona in specific. So, we've already got up and running a website called speakersphoenix.com that you may have checked out, you may not. If you haven't, please do check it out. It's going to be expanding at such a ridiculous rate. But it's already got some cool stuff in it. So check it out. Be my guest. Part of the growth of speakersphoenix.com is going to be based on how well we can integrate with our community. And we really want to focus on those things that are important to Arizonans. So if it's a business that's talking about things that Arizonans do, gardening, plumbing, home renovations, dealing with the heat, tourism, travel, well, whatever it is we're doing, there's content that we're going to be focusing on specifically for Arizonans. For starters, that's why we've launched already Speakers Phoenix TV. If you go to speakersphoenix.com/TV, I think the link's down at the bottom of the screen there. We've already got a live TV network. It's up and running, and it's carrying Arizona content first. It's going to have a couple of national things in there as well, and maybe some international stuff as well. But it's stuff that's interesting to Arizonans in the first place. Or it's by Arizonans, and we want to be proud of our Arizona content creators. So you're going to see lots of upgrades of content, regular show programming, original news, weather, all the good stuff, right? We're going to be bringing that to you on Speakers Phoenix TV. Sometime in the new year, we're also bringing you Speakers Phoenix Radio, which is all about, again, influencers, talking to influencers or business experts talking about what's exciting in their industries. Maybe it's about AI, maybe it's about quantum computing, both of which have big impacts here in the state of Arizona, and billions of dollars of new jobs and infrastructure being built here in Arizona, specifically on those two subjects. Maybe it's going to be about uh, again, gardening, or it's going to be about uh, all the fun things you can do in Arizona in the winter, the baseball games that are coming up, or the like grapefruit league, that kind of stuff, or whether it's taking a trip up to Sedona or Sholo, or going off to go see Snowball, right? Lots and lots of things to go check out in Arizona, and we're going to have all sorts of content on radio, TV, magazines, podcast platform, city guide, the whole 9 yards. So you'll be able to find whatever you want to find in one spot, making it really easy, really convenient, and again, no paid ads on our radio or TV stations. None. You can't pay to have an ad there. We're also, um, except for a couple of opinion shows that are very late night and very clearly labeled, there's no real talk about politics or sex or religion or any of that stuff unless it's a story we really can't avoid and still be um, in integrity as a journalistic organization, right? So when we've got our news shows up and running, if it's a news story we just you can't not cover, then we will cover it, but from a very journalistic point of view, not an editorial point of view. We don't want opinions in there unless it's the opinions of the people we're interviewing. Obviously, we want to report those. But our own opinions, we don't want any part of in the story. And there's a long debate about that. We'll get into that another time. But the reason why I'm talking to you today is because I planned to talk to you last week. But as you can tell from my voice, I'm a little under the weather. Certainly it was worse last week. I'm getting better. But I hoped that by today, I'd be able to make a big announcement and start getting people moving over to applying. Um, I'm not quite there yet, but it's getting close. And if you want to ask some questions, follow-up questions, that would be great. I'll get to that in a minute. But what I'm really excited about announcing today is that in conjunction with our entire speakersphoenix.com site and all the features and bells and whistles that go with it, we're launching something very unique in the media space, period, but in Arizona specifically. We're launching something called our Founders Table Advisory Board. And the whole point of this thing is so that when we talk to our advisors, our local business owners, local leaders and influencers, and hopefully some pretty smart people, they're going to talk to us about how they see the experience of being a user of the website, how they see their experience of taking in the content and what they like and don't like about the content. We're going to find out what they like and don't like about the advertising on the website experience or their business listings, or finding out if there's a content direction that they'd rather we avoid or go towards. If there are things that we're missing that would really help visitors to the state or locals to find more of what they're looking for. Whether they didn't like certain reviews or they did like certain reviews. But whatever's going on with the website, we actually have 5 special groups that we're calling advisory boards. Only 10 advisors per board, 5 boards, right? One deals with our TV stations, one deals with our radio stations, one deals with our magazines, one deals with the city guide, and one has a slightly more content focused. So we have our own original content, which includes music and movies and TV shows and whatnot. So as we deploy all that stuff, there's a group that's going to be focused on that. And so we're looking for some feedback from experts in the community and from users in the community. And there are all sorts of benefits worked in. It's a year-long deal, and we're really expecting that this is the business person's perspective. So we have a package of benefits and things that are really very generous to say thank you for participating. It's not a big commitment. It's maybe 1 to 2 calls a month, and maybe some individual feedback as that comes up. There are lots of opportunities to network with other board members. Lots of opportunities to maybe work with us and do some work together on mutual projects and stuff. So we're really keen to use this as a way to make sure we stay grounded in focusing on the benefits to our communities, to Arizona. How is this whole business enterprise going to stay focused on delivering content, tools, help, fun, events, exciting things to Arizonans? That's really the goal here. And the more of that we can do, the better it's going to be for the community, obviously, for our businesses, for our clients, for ourselves, so that everybody gets a much more community-driven experience than you're getting from any other local media. That's the whole point of the Founders Table Advisory Board. And we're really starting to look for new members for these 1-year commitments starting next week. I will say there's a nominal fee for the first year, and then half of that for any continuing year of $500. You get all sorts of benefits. You'll find out all about those later. But it's to make sure that you're actually engaged in this more than anything else. There's a commitment that you're committing to be part of this, and that's why you get all these other benefits. And there's a truckload of benefits that go with it. Not overkill, but it's well worth it. 12 to 20 to 1 in value. So I'm really hoping that this strikes you as something you'd find interesting. you'd find engaging as a business owner in Arizona, as maybe a friend of mine who has an interest in doing business in Arizona, you're a speaker who wants to talk to Arizonans, what have you, and you want to find out more about how you can engage with real media here in the state. That's what we're bringing. And I'm really looking forward to as many people in my network as possible to kind of apply. There is a little bit of a process. There is an interview because I want to make sure that we're all in the same alignment, right? We're trying to get certain key standards and points in agreement. That doesn't mean we're politically aligned. That doesn't mean we're all saying the same things. I really do want a diverse range of opinions. However, there are certain things that are the baselines, like, generally speaking, we're not talking about politics. We're not talking about sex. We're not talking about religion. We're not talking about those big controversial blocks. They're off the table. As much as we possibly can, we're going to avoid that. Those are kind of givens. And then other things where we can be a little controversial, but it's not on those things. It's really trying to drive solutions. So if we're solutions focused, yada, 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 and we're all in alignment with this stuff, then that, I think, is going to produce the best outcomes for Arizona and for speakersphoenix.com. That's what I'm hoping for, and I hope you guys agree. So I'm looking forward to any feedback you have. And if you want to reach out in advance and ask some questions, there's that email address, speakersphoenix plus reactive.media@gmail.com. And the email address is really the reactive.media@gmail.com, but the Speakers Phoenix tells us that it's about this subject, okay? So it helps us sort it and get back to you a little faster. Again, I apologize. My voice is crap. I probably look like death warmed over, but hey, it's the best I can do for today. And that's why the actual launch, I'm going to do another presentation much more in depth than this. There will be a whole webinar, and you can sign up for the webinar and do the whole registration next week. But if you want to engage a little beforehand, please reach out by email to that address below. And if you're more interested in just being a visitor and an observer, please do check out speakersphoenix.com, and in particular, check out our TV station. And as we release our magazine next month and radio station and podcast platform, those will come online really surprisingly quickly, along with some of our reviews. I was just doing a review of a restaurant yesterday. So all in all, that's all I got to tell you. And if you got any questions, please reach out. Thanks so much. Have a fantastic holiday in the meantime. And I look forward to having a great big announcement of the launch of all this stuff coming at you first thing Monday morning next week. Cheers for now.